Hey folks, it's Lindsay Hoster with SPS back in the building. What building is that? The East Lansing Public Library, a great place I come to all the time in the study room to meet with some of my individual sports psychology clients. And what a great place to offer this new experience. I'm here with Danielle Phillipps, who I had a chance of meeting a few weeks ago at BCAM, Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. She gave an outstanding presentation on sports nutrition and just a fast-moving young lady on the move. And now she's ready to launch Fuel to Performance, her new sports nutrition organization that's going to service teams as well as individuals. So we're going to take this opportunity to reintroduce you in some cases, or introduce you for others who may not be familiar with this young lady and what she's doing, and talk about this great opportunity she's going to offer you guys. And SPS is always about building athletes holistically, and what a great thing we have. So again, Danielle, it's good to see you again. How you doing?
Good, I'm good. It's good to see you again too.
Yeah, a lot has happened since I guess it was a week ago. Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks?
About 2 weeks ago we were together for BCAM. Wow, time flies real
Yes.
fast. You gave a great presentation, and now you're ready to launch Fuel to Performance. So tell me what that is.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be talking about this. It's kind of the first public announcement of it, which is really—
You heard it here first.
which is really exciting. So basically, my goal, for those who don't know, I've worked at various universities with sports nutrition programs.
And what universities are those?
Those are University of Alabama, and then University of Southern California in Los Angeles, and then now Michigan State.
Okay. I know to say Roll Tide. I know to say go green, go white, but what do you say for USC?
Fight on.
Fight on. Okay. All right. Educate me. Educated some of y'all too, because y'all didn't know. All right.
Yes. So with all that experience, now being here in Michigan, I really want to create a program that, for younger athletes that don't have that connection to a nutrition expert, a nutritionist, a dietitian. So really creating programs that coaches can use for their teams.
That's great.
I got a lot of feedback from the conference that
you were having people reaching out to you already.
Yes, I
great.
was, and that kind of further sparked my motivation to really start this. I saw that there was a big need for it, and coaches being like, we don't have, a nutritionist, someone where our players, athletes can go to. And so, what should we say? Where are the resources for that? So it really sparked my interest in getting something out there. And with my experience, being able to help the athletes, the coaches, and the team. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so my brand is really just creating a nutrition package for coaches, for teams, and then also I have an individualized program as well.
I like to put my devil's advocate hat on at times. As a sports psychology consultant, my background is, of course, sports psychology. I have my master's in sports psychology and currently a PhD candidate. Talk about your education and your credentials so people can have a better understanding as well.
Yeah, so during my time at University of Alabama, I got my bachelor's and master's in human nutrition. And then, so then I did an internship. It's required in order to get your credentials. It was 1,000 hours.
Wow.
So, and you have different rotations. So during that, I also worked at an eating disorder clinic in Los Angeles, which that's another passion of mine is with eating disorders.
And another thing that athletes face as well.
Yes, 100%. So that was a great experience. It was an outpatient clinic, so I spent around 2 months there, and I learned a lot,
Wow, what a great resource here. I think it's important to put that out there because people can hear what you're saying, but they also want to be able to know how you can help them. So let's just get right into it when you talk about the team performance package, and this will come up on the screen and people will be able to see that. Let's just walk right through it. You got your education of what to eat before, during, and after training, your workouts and competition that's tailored to a specific sport. So, it's not one size fits all as far as what you can eat as it relates to being a basketball player, a football player, a volleyball player, or a golfer.
Yeah, no, it varies. And based on sport, based on the training demands. For example, like in basketball, during my presentation at the conference, it was, these athletes, there was a study done, they can burn up to like 4,000 calories a day.
Wow.
And that's going to be different than, say, a baseball athlete, maybe a track athlete that's doing sprints, short distance. It's going to vary on how much energy, what energy sources their body's using. Are they playing long games like endurance athletes or, short? So all of that gets, tailored into what are your goals and, your meal plans and the sources that you're using.
I wish I could be burning 4,000 calories, man, to get back out there. But when I stopped hooping, everything changed. That's important. Talk about navigating and creating meals and snacks. What do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, so that's really helping people. There's actually a lot of, athletes and people out there, they're like, what do I eat? Lunch is a difficult thing for people. It's like, I don't know what to eat at this time. What should my plate look like? Snacks for the athlete population, we want it to be a carbohydrate source and a protein source.
Okay.
The protein, in recovering that muscle, building muscle, and then carbohydrates is replenishing that glycogen that is used during training. So we do the science behind it and kind of make it easy for the athlete. Like a perfect example, like Greek yogurt and granola. You have that protein in the Greek yogurt, and then the granola would be that carb source. So it's really helping, giving ideas, so it's quick. Athletes, high school, college athletes, they have a lot on their plate with, practice, and then school on top of that. So we want to make, nutrition easy.
So Greek yogurt instead of the hot chips.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I say that jokingly, but I think sometimes people just don't have the information, and they'll say, you know what, instead of me grabbing something that may be tasty, I think, let me make the effort. You can go to your supermarket and you can look and you can find the things that you think. That's great. Let's talk about understanding that food is a fuel, and the performance nutrition plan is critical to optimal performance. And before you go into that, I talk about optimal performance from a sports psychology standpoint, and I think it's important. It's not just the mental part. Now you're going to talk about the physical part of optimal performance. So talk about that.
Yeah, and just really getting the athletes to understand that, the food that they're eating is fueling their competition, their training. So we also, a big thing that I do for my athletes is education behind just telling them what to eat, like why, what sources of energy.
Well, this is the Y generation too. They're like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
So being not just doing it because I'm telling you to and I'm smart, but this is the reason why.
Yes, exactly, and why, what energy sources your body's using within this time. So really education, so when they're past their sport, they know why, and they can make their own meals and stuff.
It helps a lot, knowing your why, if you will. Well-balanced plate coaching based on training. Now, when you talk about plate coaching, as far as, let me guess, most of it should be, your greeneries, then a little bit of carb and a little bit of protein?
Not exactly.
That's why I do sports psychology. She does sports nutrition. Perfect example of need to be educated, because I thought I was on to that. So talk about what you mean when you say well-balanced plate coaching.
Yeah, so, within the performance nutrition, we have 3 different plates. We have our high intensity plate, moderate intensity, and low intensity.
Okay.
So based on the day, the season of training, your plate should look a little different.
Okay.
So for example, the high intensity training plate is going to be 50% carbs. So your rice, that could be your potatoes, mac and cheese, quinoa.
Okay.
And then 25 is going to be that lean protein. And then the other 25
and that lean protein, for example, would be grilled chicken and not fried chicken.
Yes.
Okay. So you know a couple things, right?
Yeah, a couple things.
Good. I get that. So that's really helpful to know. And again, just having this conversation with you, I consider myself a fairly health conscious person, but the importance of being able to have someone who can tell you the things. And this is kind of like teaching the athletes to fish too. It's like once they get this information, they'll forever have it going forward. Hydration needs and techniques. What do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, so hydration needs, like I said before, my job is to do, all the science calculations and then present it to the athletes, in bottles. Like my athletes use those Gatorade squeezy bottles that you see, in football games, the green ones. So that holds around 32 ounces of water. So I put, my math into bottles for the athletes. Like you should be drinking, 5 of these a day.
Oh, and that's relatable because that's something that's, they have a lot of access. I like that. It's very practical because I was just at the Detroit Public Schools high school championship for the league at Ford Field last night, and I remember seeing one of the ADs getting the water field, but coming back with the water bottles. And when you say that, it's just so practical. And I think athletes can relate to that because that's something that's well within their reach compared to just saying, hey, you need to drink a lot of water, and like, okay, well, what do I put it in and all that? I like that. Very good.
So it's different.
Okay. Fun part, building muscle, which is always probably a cool conversation.
Yes, and a lot of athletes, that is one of their performance goals, to gain muscle. So it's teaching them, in order to gain muscle, it's not just eating, steak and chicken every single meal.
Right.
In order to gain that muscle, it's, actually that high intensity training plate can also be a gaining plate. So, half your plate is actually going to be carbs. It's not going to be a bunch of protein. Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. Like during their training, they're burning their glycogen, so they're needing to replenish that. And then the protein, also needs to be distributed throughout the day. So for protein synthesis in the muscles, there's been research done where in order for that to happen, it only needs around 30 grams of protein.
Okay.
So that's why, I educate my athletes on distributing that. So you're actually utilizing that protein.
That's like an over-the-counter protein shake that I know. That I had one this morning that was 30 grams. So
yes.
After all the technical things she said, the only thing my brain connected to, like, oh, that's a 30-gram protein shake. But the point being is that everything you're saying is very connectable as far as things that are happening in people's everyday life and what they can do. I love it. Supplement safety. Oh, okay. Talk about that.
Yeah, so, and this is really important for, the high school athletes that are going to go to that next level. So in the collegiate setting, drug tests, a lot of stuff that can test positive come from those supplements that aren't third-party tested. And
drug tests aren't just testing you for drugs that will, negatively impair you, like marijuana and all those other drugs. You're talking about supplements that people are using to trying to stay healthy can be problematic too.
Yes.
Okay.
So it could be any iron. It can be that multivitamin that you're getting from the grocery store. If it's not third-party tested, we can't guarantee that it won't come up positive on a drug test.
Okay.
So.
And you would know because you're in that space on a regular basis. We've got a few more things, and this is great information. I'm being educated. I can only imagine what people are getting from watching this too. Reducing inflammation and fatigue.
Yes, and that's a big one, in season when those athletes are training every day. So really promoting, the foods that help with that. Those fruits, those veggies that have the antioxidants. Also, another big thing is cherry juice.
Cherry juice?
Cherry juice.
Okay, all right, help me with this. Let's walk through this.
Yeah, so cherry juice reduces inflammation and promotes recovery. It also acts like a natural melatonin. It's not melatonin, but...
It'll knock you out, put you to sleep?
No, but it kind of gives that, soothing, calms the nervous system, so...
Cherry juice.
Yes.
Yeah, squeeze a lot of cherries to get some cherry juice.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we make things, I make cherry juice slushies for my athletes.
Really? That sounds cool, cherry juice slushy.
Right?
You drink a whole lot of it and then you be nodding out, but it takes the inflammation down.
Yes.
Everything. They're like, you on drugs? Like, no, cherry juice.
Yeah, cherry juice.
I like that. I like that. So much education going on right here. A few more things. Solutions to digestive issues during training and competition. Excuse my language, but when people get the bubble guts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, she can help you with the bubble gut with the BGs.
Yes. So, and that's a big thing in working with athletes. What can your stomach handle? Each athlete's individual. So some can eat a full meal right before competition. Some has to be at least an hour before, and it can only be, say, like crackers or something.
Right, because their anxiety can kick in as well. The great Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas would say he would always have to go relieve himself before a game. I use the appropriate term on this platform. But just knowing that, hey, every time before a game I get a certain way, so I probably don't need to eat a full course meal, but something light like crackers. Such an education I'm getting right here. Like, this is such great stuff. She's a resource. I don't have to sell you on her. You can obviously see that. Develop nutrition knowledge and skills essential for life, okay?
Yeah, so that's, again, education is a big thing with the way that I counsel my athletes, so they know, like we said, the why. They can take it with them, when they're not an athlete, when they have a family, and they can, give that knowledge to their kids or, their partners. And
the baby's growing up drinking cherry slushes.
Yes. So it's really an overall picture out of being an athlete.
Wow, Danielle, this is great. And the last thing, finding a healthy relationship with food. I want to talk about that.
Yes, and that's a big passion of mine. And it relates, to that, those eating disorder cases, just disordered eating in general. So really finding a healthy relationship, really knocking out those food myths, those nutrition myths that you see online, and just making food something fun and easy. It doesn't need to be, something that's on your mind all the time.
Yeah.
So that's really a big passion of mine, is helping, athletes gain a healthy relationship with food.
Because I do wake up, my thing is like, all right, I'm a planner. Like, all right, what am I eat for breakfast? What am I eat for lunch? What am I eat for dinner? And it gets to the point that it's necessary because you need it. But again, I don't want it to become an obsession. And I also want to be able to do it in a way that's going to help me as my body continues to go. I got some surgery coming up, FY, have to have knee surgery. So I also want to be very conscious again about the food I'm taking in prior to that and after that, so I can gain. What I'm going to do at the time we have, I always find out every time I sit with you, it's like we can go on and on and on, but I think people have gotten a lot of great information with the time that we've shared. You also do have an individual performance nutrition program, so you can work with individual athletes. You're already working with very elite athletes on a collegiate level. I'm sure that professional athletes will benefit from your services as well. Her contact information is on the screen. It's fueltoperformance@gmail.com, and she's on social media platforms as well. I would encourage everyone to reach out to her to take advantage of her as a resource, but I'll make sure that I'm not the last voice you hear. I would defer to you. Anything else you want to share before we let you go?
I think really just my goal, with this brand, with this business, is to reach, those athletes, those teams that don't have the resources. Because, nutrition is so vital. So those high school athletes that want to reach that next level is, educating them before they reach, that level, so they know how to fuel. They have a little knowledge and education, and they can really, increase their performance.
Yeah, and you're saying not because they're an elite athlete means that they can't get access to elite type services that you provide.
Correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very down to earth person. She does what she says she's going to do. So if you reach out and follow up, I'm sure you'll be able to have a good connection. With that being said, this is Lindsay Hustle with SPS, and happy to launch Fuel to Performance with Danielle Phillipps. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.